did you learn things that were not part of the cave course then? Could you say a little bit more about what they were, if there were any things that were
Yes.
outside that classic
Yes.
cave training?
We learned, or for me, I learned more about side mount diving. And I also learned things just about myself. Going into a cave, how do I feel? How do I pull myself together to do things that are clearly out of my comfort zone? So definitely, there were some inspirational talks, which helped me very much. Yeah.
A little bit about fine-tuning your setup. Because I wasn't particularly unhappy with my own setup, but we did some tweaks and streamlining it, removing some hardware, which made it even better and more functional actually. So although when you look at it, yeah, you have to look good to see the differences. When you know them, they're so obvious and yeah, makes diving easier.
How did you guys feel when you came into the course versus what you then thought you might need to be able to do to safely navigate the caves?
Would have been nice if I was maybe a little bit better in side mount diving, maybe a little bit better trim, a little bit better of the positioning, definitely. I thought I was okay when we started, and then well, it was obvious I wasn't that good. So, and I learned a lot, and I think in these 8 days, there's a big difference. And I also now know in the next months what I need to train on and what to get better at. Definitely, yeah.
I learned to be much more aware of my body position, my trim. For buoyancy, I was happy but got better, and I made a shift from using my BCD to using my dry suit more for buoyancy and trim. And that helped me with the propulsion also. So I'm much more aware of the steps: buoyancy, trim, propulsion, position. And that's actually the fundament of a good cave diver, because
Yeah.
when you want to do something in the cave, your buoyancy has to be spot on, your trim has to be spot on. What's your position, and if you have to move, what kind of propulsion are you going to use? Which technique are you gonna execute?
So did you guys do some preparation for the course? Did you do any practice dives? Did you do any setup dives? Did you do anything before coming out that was specific to coming here?
I did a lot of practicing because I'm not side mounting that long. I did a fairly big amount of practicing, like staying still, changing masks. Um, I even tried to do the back kick, which wasn't any good until I got here. But I tried, so I did some practicing before I came, and uh, it really helped. But I needed more, yeah. And that it was in between the cave and cavern stuff. We got that into, so I got better at that too.
Yeah, I did some prep. I practiced the mask changing and getting the mask out of my pouch instead of just taking off the mask, touching out the nose is under, putting it on. So I practiced that, and also did practice the longhouse restowing, but got some good tips on that. And actually, it helps a lot when you got someone who points out what you can do different to make better performance. Because when you're practicing on your own, you're eventually quite happy what you're doing. But when you get feedback and when you get video feedback and you see what you're doing, that's so much more does so much more for the learning. So it was good to do it like this.
How did it meet your expectation or your imagination of what it was that you were going to get?
It actually surpassed my expectation, because my expectation was that we would learn how to safely dive into a cave and get out of it, and do drills and perhaps do some tweaking on the harness, perhaps. But we learned so much more. We got better as a team together.
Yeah.
We've been diving a lot together and slowly progressed in that because at one time we were better out diving all with other people, but not together. And now I actually have the idea, and we're diving as a team.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the biggest wins of this 8 days.
Hmm.
Feels really good to dive as a team.
It does. It does. I don't know exactly what I expected. Maybe I was a little bit nervous about if I would meet the expectations, like if I could do this level. And our friend who also did this course, of course, told us everything how it's going to be, but you don't know until you're in it. I said it before. I really liked the progression every day, something new, repeating some stuff, reviewing everything you did. You did what went wrong, what was good. So the training really sticked. It really got in. Today we did our first dive on our own, and it really felt like we can do this. Everything we learned in the last days is in there. We can, yeah, we really did learned it well.
It gave a lot of confidence
Yes,
in what we're doing.
definitely.
Yeah.